Hello there, this is Projectile Projects, and I'm going to be showing you today how I built this miniature catapult. Let's go ahead and get started. For the design of this catapult, I'm going to keep it pretty close to what a traditional catapult would look like. I'm going to have a rectangular frame with two poles that go up and a beam that goes across the top to abruptly stop the boom as it flings forward. I'm going to build this frame out of popsicle sticks that I laminate together, and these wheels here, they aren't going to be functional. I make sure to overlap all of the popsicle sticks by a fairly large amount to maintain strength throughout the entire project, and to add angled supports wherever necessary to provide extra support. In ancient times, the technique for launching projectiles wasn't springs or rubber bands or anything that you see many little model catapults made out of. Instead, what most catapults used to launch their projectiles was many ropes wrapped together, bound very tightly, and then twisted to create huge amounts of tension. And in doing so, they created tons of torsion that they would use to launch their projectiles. I hope to match that in this miniature catapult. I want to use this little wheel right here to either increase or decrease the amount of tension in my main rope that I'm using to launch the catapult. I'm going to use a pin on the side of the catapult to keep this in place as I twist it up. This right here is going to be the main boom and scoop of the catapult that I use to launch my projectiles. There are many different misconceptions revolving around catapults, which can actually more accurately be called onagers, orangers, or mangonels. Catapult is really a broad term that encompasses trebuchets, ballistas, and onagers and mangonels. In addition to that, the scoop style launching device that I'm using wouldn't necessarily have been what was used. It would also be perfectly common for them to use a sling as well. One big advantage of using a sling like this is you can easily adjust how far your projectile is going to go without having to adjust the power output of the catapult. In addition to this, there are huge misconceptions about how large of an object you would launch using a catapult similar to this. Realistically, they would be very small rocks, maybe about the size of two human fists, going all the way up to a volleyball-sized rock. They really weren't made to shoot massive stones, like is often depicted in many movies. This support right here is very important because the rope is going to be in a very large amount of tension that will easily crush this frame if I didn't put this support in. And you can see right here the rope like I was planning on, and then you can twist it up with the little wheel. I was pretty disappointed in how poorly it shot forward. I think that's mostly because of how close together these two ropes are, because there is a tremendous amount of tension in this little string. I was pretty disappointed with how this turned out, so I resorted to using a rubber band to launch things even further. It can easily launch these little foil balls about 20 feet with a rubber band on there. However, I think that this is absolutely cheating, so I decided to pull out all of that, and you can see with me wrapping the string around the outside of the frame, there will be a whole lot more torsion force in it once I twist this up, and using many more strands will also multiply the torsion force. So in doing this, I was able to actually get it functioning with the techniques that I was hoping to use. You can see how difficult it is for me to slip this in there. It really is very, very tight. and when I first installed this rope, it launches just as far as it did with the rubber band. You can see that right there has far more power than the rubber band did. One of the big flaws of these catapults was the ropes would stretch and permanently lose their strength, especially if they got wet or were left taut for a long period of time. I really enjoyed making this little project. I hope you enjoyed watching me build it and explain several principles about it. I have many more other projects in the works. Some of them are a little bit more DIY, and some of them are really interesting and use gunpowder to make miniature artillery cannons. So if you want to see more projects like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.